What's up, guys? My name is Dontavious Hill, three-time Team USA high jumper, five-time NCAA All-American, and my high jump journey went a lot like this. So as a freshman in high school, I came out and my PR was 4 feet, 8 inches. And by my senior year, I had jumped 7 feet. So as a sophomore, I went 5'10", junior year 6'3", senior year 7 feet, earned a full ride scholarship to go to Auburn University, and I was able to go to Auburn, have a great collegiate career. 4-time SEC Silver Medalist, 2-time NCAA Bronze Medalist, and was able to make 3 USA teams while I was there, and just had a great time in the sport, right? And I mentioned my story because I wasn't always a great high jumper. Like I said, I started out at 4 feet 8 inches as a 15-year-old, and a lot of people ask me, so how did you get so good, and what did you do? What did you do? And some people just think, oh, well, he was just gifted, or he was just an anomaly. It's not true. Many of the heights that I was jumping as a freshman, sophomore, junior, even during my senior year, many kids are jumping those heights right now. And the only reason that they cannot achieve that is because they do not have the right guidance, right? And just to even prove it, everything that I've done is replicable. From going from 4'8" to 5'10", 6'3", 7 feet, and even today being a 7 feet 5 high jumper, I've helped hundreds of athletes do this, right? I've helped hundreds of athletes be able to jump personal bests, jump school records, qualify for state championships, earn college scholarships. All of these things are possible when you have the right guidance, right? And it's already been done, right? I've even had an athlete go from 6 feet to being 6'7". I had an athlete go from 5'10" to being a 6'4" jumper. I've had an athlete go from being 6'6" to being 6'8" in just 3 weeks, right? It's all about what you do. It's all about who is guiding you and your athlete on their journey, right? So today, what we're talking about is actually pushing out the back, okay? So right here, if you just look behind me here, it says start equals finish. So how you start in the high jump is how you are going to finish, okay? And what I mean by that is, as a high jumper, we want to teach our athletes that the full extent of the approach matters. Every step that you take in the high jump approach matters, okay? Because one of the biggest problems that we face is many athletes will think, if we were to draw a curve here, many athletes think that this beginning here of the approach, the straight, are just the steps before the curve. Give it no significance at all. These are just the steps that I'm taking before the curve. Like for a basketball player, these are just the steps I'm taking before I dunk. No. Right? So they'll think, okay, these are just the steps I'm taking before the curve, and then I'll get ready. Or they'll think, this is where I kind of bound, and this is where I'm slow, and then I'll get ready, right? So when we think about the high jump, right? Steps before, slow, okay? So when we think about the high jump is a approach-focused event. So everything that you do from the first step that you take matters. If you have a 10-step approach, step number 1 matters. Step number 2 matters. Step number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 matters. But many high jumpers, they only focus on those last 3 to 4 steps, and they think that's what's gonna get them over bars. And the truth of the matter is, those last 3 to 4 steps does get them over bars. But when you're referring to being able to jump higher bars, and the reason why they're probably stuck at some of the heights they're stuck at now, because they don't utilize their full approach. I've seen really great high jumpers be able to jump really big bars and only have a curve. My goodness, if they had a full approach, right? I had one of my athletes who was running, Houston, who was running a 7-step approach. And we moved him to a 9-step approach. and just taught him about how to utilize more length of his approach and being able to actually start better and push a little better in the beginning. When I tell you he improved by 2 inches in just 3 weeks, that's what he did. And he actually qualified for nationals, and he's getting ready to go compete, right? That is the importance of being able to utilize your full approach, right? And this didn't just happen because we added steps, right? Everybody's approach is different, and you need the right person to tell you where you need to be, right? It's also happened because doing specific practice on being able to start better, push better, being able to allow that to convert into the curve of the approach, right? So number one here, when we're talking about being able to be better in the beginning, starting, that's how you finish, pushing out the back, we have to change our mindset. Earlier, when I talked about how athletes think that the beginning of the approach is just the beginning of the approach, we have to completely shift our mindset and say, okay, the beginning of this approach is probably the most important part. Because if you start out slow, right? If we start out slow in our approach, guess what? That's less speed you're going to have at the beginning. A lot of high jumpers, they tend to start out slow and they try to speed it up toward the end. It's less speed, right? A lot of high jumpers, they start out slow in the beginning and they try to speed it up at the end, and they start to just try to run and gun it. That sometimes allows you to be thrown out of control when you get over the bar, right? When you're thinking about the way the high jump works, not only is it an approach focused event, but it's a momentum focused event, right? So in the high jump, when we start out slow and we are still able to jump, I would say, solid bars, you have to go back and think, okay, if I'm able to push out more, now that I know that if I just have a better start, I'll be able to finish better, how much better of a high jumper will I be? How much higher will I jump, right? And this is achievable when you have specific drills that teach you how to be able to push harder out of the back. When you have the specific sprinting that teaches you how to be able to increase that stride, be able to get those knees up, run with dorsiflexion, all of those things. And that's exactly what we do inside of my program, the High Jump Blueprint. So the way my program works is we address all the different areas and aspects of an athlete that's going to allow them to become a great high jumper, right? So what we usually start with is mindset. So mindset is the first tool that we go to in the high jump. We get down to what is causing the athlete to be afraid of PR heights. We get down to what's stopping our athlete from being confident. We get down to what is actually holding them back from achieving mentally, not physically. What are the mental things that are holding them back from thinking they can achieve more, from stopping them from jumping heights, from breaking the specific plateau that they're stuck at, right? From this point, where do we go? High jump. Once we got our mindset in check and we're confident, we feel better about ourselves, and we understand what kind of high jumper we are and what we can be, we get into high jump. So we teach all the specific drills, including drills that's going to allow you to be able to push out the back in the beginning of your approach better. And from this point, when we learn the specific drills, teach us how to push out of the back, but also how to lean in the curve, how to take off properly, and so much more. From there, we get into film analysis. So our athletes get to send film analysis to me pretty much as often as they like, right? Whenever they go to practice, they come back, they send me the film, I critique it. And this is a really big game changer. When you have an athlete with their mindset in check and they're able to go and do the specific drills prescribed by me over my 10 plus years in the sport, and then they get to send me the actual film analysis and the practice from them actually doing the drills, that is how my athletes have been able to get 3 inches better or 4 inches better, right? Or, an athlete who I just interviewed was able to get 5 inches better over a 8 week period, right? Of reaching out and me getting him the specific things that he needed coaching wise to actually achieve, right? Even looking at some film, being able to critique it and show them exactly what they need to do. And that's one of the main things that's currently missing. That's one of the main things that's currently missing from our high school athletes. They don't have someone to look at their film and know what's actually happening. People think they know what's happening, but that is when we remain stagnant because we don't know what's actually happening. They just think they know, right? And it's not their fault, right? People don't know what they don't know. And that's where I come in. I'm able to implement a system like this. We go from mindset, we go to high jump, and guess where we go from there? We go into training. So training wise, what we do is I design a full monthly training block for our athletes, and we consistently get that to them month after month, right? As they continue to improve, I continue to implement their weight training, their applied metrics, their sprinting, how many days they should be jumping, what specific drills they should be doing. And this is the recipe for success. So when we get their mindset, we get their high jump technique together, we start training them in the weight room, applied metrics and sprinting on top of that, right? What happens next is our athletes improve at a rate which allow them to get on scholarship radar, where I personally help them with recruitment. Okay. So from there, we get to recruitment. And what we do is I personally act as the liaison to actually reach out to coaches to help our athletes improve, right? And show them exactly what they need to say and what they need to do to actually get scholarship offers, to actually get an official visit and actually, be able to go to college and get a degree for free for the high jump performance, right? So that is what we do, right? And if you're the parent of a high school high jumper and you're interested in having this system and being able to join this program as a family to get your athlete the help that they need, then book a call with me down below, or we'll hop on a call and just walk through my entire strategy, walk through exactly what your athlete needs for them, where they want to get to, all of their goals. And we'll implement and lay out a specific plan to see how we can actually help them achieve those goals. So like I said, parents, if you're interested and you have an athlete who is in need of high jump coaching and really want to be great in sport, book a call with me down below and we can get you guys plugged in and get you guys all the information you need to help him reach those goals.